Hi, my name is Alvin Alexander, and this is my video series, 12 Things Java Developers Should Know About Scala. This is part 10 of the series, The Awesomeness of Scala for Loops. To get started, I'm going to show the basic Scala for loop syntax, and to do that, I'll start with a simple list of integers. With that list, the basic for loop syntax looks like this. I'm going to say for n in nums, I want to print n. As you can see from this code, this is really simple syntax. I don't have to specify types. There are no wasted characters. Scala in general is like this, what I call a low ceremony language. So I'll go ahead and hit enter and you'll see the output that you expect, 1, 2, 3. Next up, I'll make this just a little more complicated, and to do that I'm going to paste a for loop into the REPL. This is very similar to the previous loop. I have for n in nums, and then inside the curly braces, I have a little bit of a multi-line algorithm going. I multiply n by 10 to create the new value x, and then I print x. Of course, I could have done this in one line, but I'm trying to show a simple multi-line example. When I run that, you'll see the output you expect, 10, 20, 30. Next, I'm going to show something called a generator. To demonstrate the generator, I'll just go ahead and paste this code in, and the generator is this portion of the code where I say I in 1 to 5. And the rest of that line is the same as the for loop that I previously showed. To see how this works, I'll go ahead and press enter, and then you'll see the output you expect, 1 through 5. Now let's raise the level of difficulty a little bit by pasting in a for loop that has 3 generators. Notice right away that I changed the parentheses. In the previous examples I used plain parentheses, but when you begin creating multi-line for loops like this, the preferred approach is to use curly braces. This for loop has 3 generators, so what I'm saying is for I in 1 to 2, for j in 1 to 3, and k in a to c, let's go ahead and print those values each time through the loop. So when I run this, you'll see the output from all 3 generators. Next thing I want to show is a guard in a for loop, and to do that I'll paste in another block of code. So what I'm doing here is, again, I have a for loop, and this first line is a generator, as I showed in the previous example. So I'm saying for I in 1 to 10. And then this next line is a guard. So I'm saying if I modulus 2 equals 0, then go ahead and print I. So we're basically adding an if statement inside of the for loop. And when I go ahead and run that, you see the result, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Of course, this can get more complicated in the real world, so I'll show another example here. And in this case, I have the 3 generators that I used earlier. So I have from I in 1 to 2, j in 1 to 3, k in a to c. And then I'll go ahead and add 2 guards here. So I'll say if I is not equal to 1 and j is not equal to 2, go ahead and print this expression here. So again, that's 3 generators, 2 guards, and I'll go ahead and run that. And you see the output, and you'll see that the output is skipped when I is 1 or j is 2. The thing I really like about guards is that they make your code more readable by separating the looping and filtering concerns from the business logic. You can see that if I paste in some more real-world code. And I won't run this, but I'll just show it here, and I think you'll agree that that's pretty darn readable. I'm saying for every file in a list of files, if the file passes the first filter and if it passes the second filter, let's go ahead and do something with that file. And for me, like I say, that's really nice and clean because it separates the looping and filtering, which are in these lines right here, from the business logic, which is right here. Another great feature of for loops in Scala is something called a for comprehension, and to demonstrate this I'll create an array of lowercase names. And as a first example of how to use a for comprehension, I'll go ahead and paste in this for loop. And as you can see, it's a simple, looks like a simple for loop from before. For name and names, we're going to do something. But in this case, we're going to yield name.capitalize. And yield in this for loop is what makes it a for comprehension. And as you see when I hit enter, what this does is it's actually returning an array of strings, and those strings are the capitalized versions of the names that I used as input. So I gave the input was lowercase names Chris, Ed, and Maurice, and what came out of that was the capitalized names Chris, Ed, and Maurice. Because I didn't assign the result of the for loop to anything, the Scala interpreter assigned it to a variable named res43. But if I modify this example a little bit, and so now I'm going to assign the result of the for loop or for comprehension to this value called cap names. Now you see that cap names holds those results, and then I can do whatever I want with cap names. I can just list it here in the REPL and show that, or I can say cap names dot for each print line, and so on. So the magic of this is that the for comprehension yields a new collection from the input collection based on your algorithm, which in this case called the capitalize method. As a second example of a for comprehension, what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and paste in another block of code. And in this I'm going to create an array buffer that has these fruits or names of fruits in it, apple, banana, and orange. And I'll go ahead and run that so you can see from the REPL results here that it has created this variable called fruits. And then I'll go ahead and do what I did before, more or less, and I'll paste this in. And so again, I'm saying I want to assign this value out, is the name of this value or variable, to the result of this for comprehension here. And I'm doing the same thing I did before. I'm saying for each element in fruits, go ahead and yield something. And that something here again is a simple expression. In this case, I'm just saying uppercase each element in that. So I hit enter, and then you can see if you work through the output here, it says the value out is this array buffer of apple, banana, and orange, and then I can show, as I did before, out.for each print line, and again you have apple, banana, and orange. One final thing I want to show is that a basic for yield expression is the same as using a map method. And this is huge. It took me a long time to figure this out on my own. So what I've done in this line of code is I'm going to go ahead and replace, I have this for yield expression up here, and I'm going to replace that with this map method call right here. So what I'm doing is passing this anonymous function into the map method. And when I type out.for each print line, you'll see that out has the exact same results that it had earlier when I used the for yield expression. So in the most simple case, which I've shown here, writing a for comprehension is the same as calling the map method. In summary, in this video I demonstrated Scala for loops. I started with basic for loop examples, including the one-line syntax and multi-line syntax. I then showed generator examples, including the use of one generator in a for loop and then multiple generators. Next, I showed how to add guards to for loops by embedding if clauses in your expressions. I explained how guards let you separate looping and filtering concerns from your business logic. Finally, I showed how to write for comprehensions by adding the yield keyword to your loops. For comprehensions let you create a new collection from an existing collection by applying an algorithm to the original collection. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. My name is Alvin Alexander. I wrote the Scala Cookbook, and you can find more information at alvinalexander.com. Thank you.